Most people are still cold emailing the wrong way with fake warm-ups, dead inboxes, and weeks wasted. The system I've built books calls from day one. And as everyone knows, money loves speed. And while other people are still warming up, me and my community are getting replies, getting leads, getting meetings, and getting paid, all before the campaign's even live. So in this video, I'm going to show you the full framework, the infrastructure, the methods, the emails, everything. It's the exact system I'm using to book 50 meetings a month. And if you actually execute what I'm about to show you and tell you, you will build 6 figures worth of pipeline within days, not weeks. So let's get into it. So why would you actually cold email? Because a lot of businesses don't do it. A lot of businesses will rely on referrals and people that they've worked with previously, organic growth, paid ads. And paid ads especially, the cost per lead on average is about $100. So if you think about it in terms of cold email and how cheap it can actually be, you can get your word out to thousands upon thousands of people at a very low cost, and your cost per lead ends up being $10 to $50, something like that. You can really control the volume that you're sending. So let's say you were struggling and you needed some leads, some meetings, and you needed a client at the end of it. You'd send a minimum of 10,000 emails, and you can control that. So let's say you sent 10,000 and you're getting a bunch of meetings, at least 30 probably from that a month. You can scale that. Let's say, okay, you got 5 clients from those 30 meetings. You'd hire a couple people, they do the outbound, you still handle the meetings, and you could just scale really quickly. It's a really good way of doing it. There's obviously cons with trust and stuff like that, but I'll get into that later down the line. But the thing is with cold email, like I mentioned at the start, a lot of people will just spray and pray. And at the moment, and probably for the remainder of our time on earth, that just doesn't work anymore. It is not going to be a way of doing it. People see that as spam. Spam is something that's unsolicited, which is what cold email is, but also sent in bulk. And if you can make it look like your email was not sent in bulk and you're actually emailing one-to-one on a personal level, your email is going to land so much better. It's going to be so much better for you, and you're going to make a hell of a lot more money. Right, so let's actually go into the infrastructure. So I've just typed in here cold email mailboxes, and look at all this stuff that comes up instantly. Zoom info, mail baby, mail reef. You can look at stuff on Reddit, Smartly, Doom, Gmass, Mailforge, Mailscale. There is so many different providers out there that claim that their emails are destined for landed in the inbox because they have this magic cold email infrastructure, but that's not the case, right? Where there's no such thing as a cold email infrastructure. Google, Microsoft, all of them, Zoho, they do not want their users getting cold emailed, just because a lot of it is spam. There's people out there that will cold email and send links and click on this link, and you will get scammed, and a lot of it is spammy as well. So they clearly don't want people emailing their users, so they do all they can to stop it. So all these that say you can get all these accounts, it's great for your deliverability, it's a cold email mailbox infrastructure, it's bollocks, right? Because you can't have a cold email infrastructure. So all you really have to do is figure out your own infrastructure to be able to send it out. Now, there's loads of ways you could do this. You could just go with one of these. The reason these guys call themselves a cold email infrastructure is because they'll give you the ability to set up multiple inboxes for a decent price. So let's go on Mailscale, for example, okay? What you can do let's have a look. For $119 a month, you can generate up to 50 inboxes. So that probably allows you to send 10,000 emails a month, up to 50, which is decent. You'll still have to buy the domains, but that's what we do in cold email. You buy the domains. You'll have to buy sort of subdomains of your main domain. So it could be, say your domain's Mailscale. This could be try Mailscale, get Mailscale, be Mailscale, something like that. It sounds like your main domain, but isn't the exact sort of carbon copy of it. Or if you feel like that's too unprofessional, you could just do mail.scale.com, something like that. Something, email.mailscale.com, something like that. actual subdomains that will allow you to then set up multiple inboxes per domain. So we normally set up 3 to 5 per domain, okay? The reason we do this is because we need to spread the volume. Let's say you had one domain and one email account and you hammered out 10,000 emails a month. Whoever you're with, your Google or Microsoft or Zoho, whatever you're with, they'd see this as you sending spammy emails. That doesn't look like a human would send that many emails, okay? A human can't physically sit there and send 10,000 emails per month. Actually, I'm sure they probably could, but they'd be very burnt out, bored, and just annoyed. So what we do to spread the volume, to sort of stay under the radar, is we send a small amount of emails per email account and only set up 3 to 5 per domain. So you got your domain, and under that you'll set up 3 to 5 mail accounts, okay? Now, the thing with deliverability is that these email accounts need to be set up perfect for deliverability. So what I mean by that is SPF, DMARC, and DKIM. I'm not going to get into the technical, but the SPF is literally your sender policy framework or something like that. So that's basically where you're sending it from. Your DKIM is something that signs the email, right? So when I send an email to you, for example, you who are watching, it would need to be signed by my ESP or by the server that my email is coming from. And then DMARC works alongside SPF and DKIM to basically monitor and control how your emails are treated if they were to fail verification, right? And those 3 things are very important if you want email deliverability, and that's really all you need. So you can use the likes of Mailscale or anyone there, but personally I have my own infrastructure. I've done videos on it before. You can go and take a look. That allows me to set up multiple domains, multiple inboxes, literally unlimited, for a fraction of the price that everyone else charges. So I've got literally full walkthroughs on my YouTube if you want to go and have a look, or you can just download the blueprint in my school community and it's all in there for you to set everything up automatically, and that's what I do. Then afterwards, you're going to need a tool to send these emails out, because you don't want to sit there doing it yourself. You want to do it automatically. So a lot of people use instantly.ai. Another popular one is SmartLead. You can even do it from HubSpot CRM. And what these are called are sequences. So you will set up a sequence. So for example, email 1, and then if they don't reply, you'll send another one in the sequence, and then another one in the sequence. And your job here is to make it sound as human as possible, because people now will be getting emailed to the brim of poor emails that are just clearly sequenced. Everyone knows what instantly is. Everyone knows what SmartLead is, or at least a lot of businesses do, and they're very much against it. People don't like cold emails. I'm sure you've received a cold email in your lifetime and have put it straight into the bin, and it's annoyed you. That even the copy might have annoyed you. They might have been too cocky or too arrogant, and that's just annoyed you. It has me in the past. So you've got to take that into account and understand the sender, understand the recipient, understand the person that you are sending to, and think, would I like this email in my inbox? So it's pretty affordable. Most people go for the supersonic. Well, apparently this is the most popular, but this just essentially allows you to upload 25,000 contacts a month, I believe, and send an unlimited amount of emails. So what this looks like is you'll set up campaigns and you'll add your leads into, and they'll send out. Now, the next thing is email warm-up. As you can imagine, the clue's in the name. You need to warm up your account. You can't just buy a domain, set up inboxes. They're completely cold. They're freezing, in fact, and just start sending 30 emails out per email account to random people when you haven't gained any sort of trust with ESPs. You have to get a reputation for yourself, or your domains and inboxes have to get their own reputation, and your IP as well. But if you were to buy, say, instantly mailboxes, you'd be sending from their shared IP. Again, without getting too technical, essentially what this means is a lot of these people like Mailscale and Instantly, they'll have an IP, right? Which is where the emails get sent from. And you will get joined into that pool. All your domains and inboxes will get put into this pool along with hundreds, thousands other people, and you'll be sending emails from this IP that is probably, definitely very used to sending cold emails. So that's probably gained some kind of trust with ESPs, but actually, when you think about it, it probably hasn't, because there's going to be people in there that could potentially ruin it for you who don't understand how to send cold emails, are sending very poor ones, and are getting listed by spam by their recipients. And if that IP gets burned, everyone on that IP will get burned with it. And the whole thing just fails. So again, I'd really recommend looking into dedicated IPs. Take the accountability of your campaigns as your own responsibility. Okay, so if anything goes wrong, it's your fault. If it goes right, it's again your fault, and you can celebrate and clap your hands and drink champagne. And if you follow everything that I'm going to tell you, it's going to go as well as you possibly could have dreamed, right? So anyway, that's just another piece of the puzzle, piece of the science. We're in the community are doing something very different now, and I talked about it a couple of videos back. It's the Warmup strategy. Now, if you were to send emails from instantly.ai, you're essentially sending very fake, robot emails to robot accounts who are sending fake emails back. And what I mean by this is stuff like, hey, fancy a coffee, or hey, fancy lunch tomorrow. It's just absolute crap that you're not actually going to be sending when the campaign goes out. So what good does it actually do? You have to think about this logically. If you're sending those types of emails, Google and Microsoft aren't dumb, all right? They will have things set up to detect when these types of emails are being sent. And then suddenly when you're sending 30 a day of very hyper-personalized emails, I'd hope you would, in your actual campaign, in your cold email campaign, Google's going, hang on, he was asking people if they wanted lunch tomorrow or fancied a coffee, and now he's trying to sell leads, or he's trying to pitch them their business coaching, I don't know, consultative business or whatever. You're with me on that, right? It's not going to look good, and actually it's going to damage your reputation and your deliverability. So instead, what I've been doing and what people in my community have been doing have been very, very slowly sending actual cold emails out as their warm-up, okay? Might take a bit longer, might not, but you have to be very conservative with it. I personally like being very safe, but I'll just create 3 campaigns, okay? So what I've done is create 3 campaigns. I've created 3 different types of copy, 3 different offers, and I've put them in here, and I'm just having them send out very, very slowly, automatically as well. I've created an automation, which will come in another video. I've already done, but I've beefed it out. An automation which handles this warm-up for me. It will check my IP, it will check my domains, it will check all the health metrics that it can, and adjust the warm-up based off of those metrics. Everyone in the community is using it now, and it's going really well. As you can see, I'm getting high response rates. I've sent 1,000 out. I'd normally send, as you can see, 24 to 20,000. These are old campaigns. I should probably delete them. But as you can see, it's doing well. Now, these haven't had a day of fake warm-up. These have just sent real emails from the start. And I know a lot of people are going to struggle to get their head around this. And I don't blame you, because I did at the start as well. I just had a thought one day that I just thought, crikey, why am I sending these crap emails out? It just doesn't work. So I started sending real cold emails to real people, generating real responses, okay? Now, the good thing about this is that when it actually comes to having my emails warmed up, I can hammer home the best performing one. So at the moment, it's warm-up offer 2. I could go into there, hammer home the copy and hammer home that offer, and think about it. I'm getting, 25 replies from 1,000 sent. Not incredible, but a 4.4% response rate. It'll be a bit different, to be fair, when you click into it. There you go. 571 cents. That's why it's got a 4.4% response rate. That's just including the follow-ups here, okay? But yeah, what I'm doing now is I've got 22 opportunities from my warm-up, okay? Started about a week and a half ago. A lot of you would be doing 2 to 3 weeks warm-up, and you'd just be sat there waiting for your campaigns to kick off. Whereas my campaigns have technically started. I'm getting opportunity and I'm getting validation on my copy and on my offer as well. So I can actually hammer home the one that's doing the best. And when it comes to actually sending that campaign out to 10,000, 15, 20,000 people, it's just going to be astronomical pretty much. And it's going to be impossible for me not to get a client. So yeah, that's my warm-up, right? Now, I'm actually going to show you the settings that I do in here, okay? So this should always be on your delivery optimization. You're obviously going to click that on, sending the first email as text only. Now, I'm sending every 17 minutes because if you can imagine, if you were to just leave this blank, it's going to just send all your emails out at once. Now, do you think Amelia Tate is going to be sat there sending 10 emails at the same time? Is not human-like. Everything that you're doing here is trying to mimic human-like behavior, okay? Just please, there's two things you need to remember, right? Just think of what the recipient is going to think and just try and be as human as possible. I'll get into the system in a moment and the copy, etc., and how I make it seem human. Now, provider matching. Any infrastructure you send from, maybe not Microsoft, okay, but any other infrastructure you send from will struggle to get into Microsoft. It doesn't matter who you are, right? They'll struggle. If I was to sign up with MailScale and I was to get all their inboxes and then send them out, I'd still struggle to get in Microsoft. But others in Google, I'd probably be all right doing it, which is why my infrastructure works. It's because I'm still landing in Google and others very, very, a lot, basically. So in my ESP routing, I say all do not send Microsoft, all send others, and then I didn't have all send Google on there. Once the others had run out, I sent to Google because others are very easy to get into. And then once I've sort of gained a bit of trust, people have been responding to my emails, I then included Google, but I do not send to Microsoft. If I'm sending to Microsoft and they're sending my emails to spam, it's going to show Microsoft and Google that I'm probably not worthy and not trusted, and I haven't gained that sort of reputation with them yet to be able to send to Microsoft. So if I'm getting yeses from others in Google and people are responding to me and I'm mimicking human-like sending, then Microsoft later down the line, when I send an email, might see my domains, inboxes and IP and go, okay, this guy's got a good reputation with everyone else, let's let him in. So I'm sort of delaying, you've all heard of delayed gratification, I'm delaying potentially a few people replying because they might check their spam folder. I'm delaying that now for in the future to be able to land in even more inboxes, okay? But as you can see, this stuff works. And if you're the type of person that gets incredibly impatient, and I'm sure a lot of you do, because there's a lot of people in my school community who get annoyed at the fact that they've got, or they used to, had to wait for their, had to wait to be able to send emails out. Now's not the case. You can create copy, I think I've put 1,000 leads in each. 791 in there, and start sending out emails that you believe will potentially land quite well, and you can test different offers as well. Right, so now let's talk about email copy. Which one should we go? We'll just go through the ones I'm doing right now and ones I've done previously. Let's look at this one previously. A lot of you will be looking at this and thinking, what the heck, that's really long. But that's just this is called spin tax, right? So this just is different variations of the same sentence, right? So that was my offer. Now, this is a multi-line personalization. So it goes down to here. It references something from the research that my system has done, which I'll walk you through in a moment, and then tells them pretty much what I've done. So this is personalization, value hook, offer, and it's as simple as that. And then I'd do a personalized PS at the bottom. So I'll walk you through this. So saw how you've transformed CFC's tech stack, automating cyber quoting and building a proactive cyber capability. Yes, I've done my research. The reason I've added this in, so this was a couple months ago now, to be fair. If you read that, right, that just looks AI. No one's writing that. Okay, no, like literally no one is writing that, and the people that are going to be getting this email are going to know it's AI, even to an untrained eye. So what I did is I did a human touch in. So literally everyone said, yes, I've done my research. So now they may be doubting whether it's AI. Then I said it was reference to that person. So I built something that helped tech leaders like you book 20 to 30 high value meetings a month using AI. Whatever. And then this was my offer at the time, which performed really well. Happy to send over the automation blueprint we use for you to plug into your business, if you think it would help. Now, a lot of you will be thinking, why are you just giving away your blueprints for free, your automations for free? But the reason is because 99% of people that would get a big block of JSON code will not have a fucking clue what to do with it. So that's when I'd come in, they pay for my services, they pay for my consultation, and I get it set up for them for a one-off cost. Whereas now I've moved more to retainers, but we'll go over that in another video probably. So that's that one, right? Now let's go into Warmup offer 1, this copy here. Actually, let's just go into the best performing one and why it's potentially performing so well. Now, this was a little different. Okay, actually, let's just go back to this, sorry, just so I can show you. Step 2 was a follow-up. I had the AI create a follow-up email. Then I had it create a... No, that was apparently my... This got a lot of responses. It got more negative responses than it did positive. People thought that was very rude, and I don't blame them. But again, I was just testing. And then that was it. So I literally just did one follow-up email. So what the AI created was a subject line, a personalization, a PS for the follow-up email. Okay. And as you can see, performed pretty well. I've got quite a few clients from that. 73 opportunities. If you're not closing one of them, there's something seriously wrong with you. Let's have a look at this warm-up offer here though. So I've had the AI create a subject line, a personalization, no AI generated personalization here. I've had it just create a follow-up. Whoops. Another follow-up and a final follow-up. Okay. So let's have a look at what it looks like. With this one, I'm just going to take this off because I know you're reading it and not listening to me. This one, I've gone more down an angle of potential problem they might have and how the system solves it. So I had the AI research it researched everything, and it was to output potential pain points that this person could be experiencing, right? I had it research potential problems, potential pain points, and then how the next step was how my solution could solve that, right? So customer experiences shouldn't be boring, and neither should business development. I've built a system that handles your prospecting. I'm guessing this is something that she might have put in her LinkedIn, or that might be her headline on fucking Reddit. I don't know. But this is personalized. I know it. I just know it is because of how personalized I wanted this system to be. This is probably something she said somewhere. And neither should business development. I built a system that handles your prospecting exactly how you design a customer journey. Personalized, strategic, and memorable. And then this is my spin text offer, which at the moment is, I'll write in your voice, email 2,000 leads and finish when 10 leads say yes. What do you think? It's not the strongest of offers, but it's doing quite well, to be fair. Then the next follow-up, just getting back to you, I know scaling Sprout Design means being selective about where you invest your time. So this outreach system works like your customer experience approach or CX approach. That's probably not customer experience. I don't know. Targeted, engaging, and designed to create real connections, not just noise. And then it's my offer again. Follow-up 3, which is follow-up 2 or step 3. You transform boring CX into memorable journeys, but I'm guessing your own pipeline. See, this is just seen quite repeatable. So would I carry on with this? I don't know. I don't think I've got this far in the steps yet, so I'll have to see how step 3 performs. But just repeating the same thing over and over again, I actually don't like it now I'm looking at it. So it's something I'll go back to the drawing board with, which is the beauty of this sort of warm-up strategy where you're sending cold emails as your actual emails. It allows you to test, iterate, and see which one's getting the best result. Now, on the final email, I talk about just generic automation. You know, if you didn't want to talk about the outbound piece, you've got that sorted, don't worry. But this is a potential problem you could be dealing with: proposals, client updates, client project tracking. And I'm guessing there's a few operational pieces that could run smoother. So I actually help founders like you automate that sort of stuff so you can stay focused on creating those unforgettable experiences. I think that's a great email, to be fair. Like I say, we haven't got this far yet in the in the thingy, in the sequence. But when it gets to that, I'm going to see how well it performs. I do think that's a good email. It's really pain point specific. I talk about potential solutions to that. And I just ask a direct question at the end, and that is the final follow-up. I might even add another one that I just write in personally. But yeah, that's the type of copy you want to be sending. Really hyper-personalized, looks as human as possible. I really encourage everyone in here and everyone in my community, I say it a lot, to think outside the box. I really, really encourage you to just think outside the box. What everyone is doing is this. What everyone is doing is this, okay? Everyone's doing this. Well, this. People are fed up of it. You're not going to stand out. What I see on YouTube, people just send, this is my cold email system that sends one hyper-personalized or just personalized email, icebreaker right at the start. Everyone's doing this, so you now have to stand out away from everyone else. You have to. So think outside the box. What would you reply to? People in my community, I put something in. I was doing this for a client that works really well, because they wanted to seem really human. And someone in my community has been doing it and posted on LinkedIn how successful he's been doing, the success he's been seeing with doing it like this is just having the research step, find another decision maker within that business, and then just referencing that in the first line. Hey, Jonathan, not sure whether it was you or Steve that I should be speaking to here, and then go into it. And he's been seeing great success with that. And I'm not surprised. It seems human, it's a bit different. And if you're pairing that with a subject line like this, something that's going to make someone click into it, you're going to be winning non-stop. So again, just think outside the box. There's so many ways you could do this. It really is. Right, now I'm going to talk you through settings, okay? So in Instantly, you can choose the accounts to use. You can stop sending emails on a reply, which you should probably always have, unless it's like, I don't know, some sort of marketing email that you're sending every 30 days or something like that in here. But if you're sending a cold outreach campaign, which I'm guessing you are if you've got this far in the video, then you want to be stopped sending emails on a reply, otherwise it's unprofessional. We don't track opens, okay? The reason being is when you send an email with open rate tracking included, it adds a small pixel, okay, at the top or the bottom or somewhere in the email. When someone clicks into that email, that pixel that is invisible triggers, it opens, right? And that just sends data back to Instantly to say someone's opened your email. Congratulations. What's good about that? Okay, the only thing is maybe potentially you're not landing in spam, but if you're getting a decent response rate, 2% and above, you probably are landing in the inbox, so you're fine anyway. If you're underneath that, I'd recommend just having a look at your infrastructure and changing a few things. But the thing is, think about it as Google and Microsoft's point of view. They don't see an invisible link. They don't see it as open rate tracking. They see it as a link that could potentially be scam or a phishing attempt. If you haven't heard of phishing, I'm not talking phishing for COD. I'm talking PH phishing, right? Which is when you send an email to someone with a link in that you click on, it can potentially, there's things like M&S in the UK recently has been cyber attacks. That's what I'm trying to get at, right? Every company is gets trained on, every corporate company, or they get trained on phishing attacks and scam attempts, etc., etc. So Google also do their bit to try and stop their users getting attacked and losing, getting held for ransom. Because what these attackers will do, they'll make you click a link, and then that link will then allow them to access your computer or something and get in a load of data, and then they'll steal the data, and then they'll get in touch with the company and say, look, we've got all this data, we're going to release it to the public unless you give us this amount of money. It's an expensive job. You either pay the ransom, which I don't think many people do, or you have to hire an expert team of security experts to come in and try and get your data back somehow or do something, right? So it becomes a really expensive mistake. So I always end up going down rabbit holes when I talk about stuff, but essentially that's why you don't track open rates. Delivery optimization recommended. So if it's recommended, fucking click it. We're going to send emails as text only, no HTML. That helps improve your deliverability. The daily limit for this was set at 1740. I'm pretty sure when you add email accounts in here and the email accounts have their daily limit set as 30, it will just automatically up the amount in here to the amount of accounts plus the amount of accounts times 30. Now, sending pattern, time gap between emails. You have to act as if it has to look human, okay? So essentially what I do, I look at how many emails I'm going to be sending that day. So let's say it's 20 emails per account. Let's say I'm sending 20 emails per account and I'm sending between 9 and 5 p.m. I'll calculate the amount of hours there and how many minutes in between each email it would take to spread 30 emails or 25 emails, whatever it is, throughout the day. And I'll put it in here and we'll put in random additional minutes. Doesn't really matter. It could be 6, could be 7, could be 5, whatever you want it to be. Just something a bit random so that ESPs, so it's not just sending 17 minutes on the dot. Sometimes it will send 23 minutes on the dot. Sometimes it won't. Another thing you can do is check this box to prioritize reaching out to new leads over scheduled follow-ups, especially if you've got a really good first email that's hyper-personalized and is probably getting the majority of replies. That's a good thing to check. Provider matching. Still, sometimes I say, do not send Microsoft. I might send Microsoft at the end of the campaign. So you'll just put Google and others and it'll just send to them, and at the end of the campaign you can just delete that and you can go also Microsoft and it'll blast out to Microsoft. Hopefully it's decent enough for you to be able to land in their inbox. Stop campaign on auto reply. No, sometimes you can have that. It's up to you, but sometimes a lead will reply from a campaign, say who's not the right person from the same company, and then the person who is the right person is also in the campaign and does reply saying they're interested. So you could end up speaking to the wrong person who says no, but then the right person says yes. But by that time, you've already stopped the emails. You with me? So that's completely up to you. I'd leave that unchecked because you get a lot of, it is July, it is holiday season, so you'll get a lot of that. No, you don't want to put that in. And leave that, and you can just save it and press launch. Now let's talk about replying. This is, I got close there, didn't I? This is really important. So I can talk you through how to actually reply to interested leads. That's fine because, some people still need a bit of guidance on it, but let's just talk about first replying to people that say no. Some people will reply saying no thanks or unsubscribe or remove me from your mailing list. And a lot of people will just not email them back. One of the most important things you can do for your deliverability is email back and say, not a problem. Thanks for letting me know. All the best. Or something like that, right? And it's a really easy automation you can set up in make.com or NA10. You can just send a webhook for a specific campaign. You can analyze that sentiment. Anyone that is negative or maybe neutral, but I'd probably just stick with negative. You can have AI create the reply and just send it back. No probs. Thanks for letting me know. You won't be contacted again. All the best, name. And it will just send it, and that's automatic for you. Or you could do it manually but to be honest, that's quite annoying and I wouldn't recommend doing it. Just create an automation like that, or I'll create one and put it on my YouTube and you can have it. But the reason that's so good for your deliverability is because it's mimicking human-like sending. You've sent an email, they've replied, you then email back, and that's the end. That's 3 emails in a chain, in a thread. Happy days for Google and Outlook. They like you for that. It's just a deliverability boost trick. Now, for interested replies, right? Now, you want to be really consultative in the replies because this is cold email. People aren't trusting you at all. So something that's really important for you to do is to stay consultative and keep their guard, or try and lower their guard, because they've got a guard up against you. They can't see a face. They're just chatting with a name on a screen right now. You need to lower that guard and get them to trust you as much as you possibly can. So the way to do that is to answer the question they might have. So send more info, just do a one line. This is what we do and how we do it and how it could potentially help you, 1 or 2 lines. And then after that, what you want to do is just say, oh, look, what normally helps our clients best is if I was able to understand a little bit more about you and your goals, your strategy, what it is you're basically doing now, just to see if we could possibly help you, just to see if there's a gap and to see if we can fill that gap, because we can't work with everyone. And you understand what I mean by that. And suddenly they'll be thinking, oh, right, okay, this guy's not just trying to sell me. He actually cares about what it is I'm doing and how we can possibly work together and if he could help me, etc., etc. So yeah, okay, I'm more inclined to reply and speak to him and start up a conversation and get that call booked. I wouldn't just go straight in and go, book call. Because again, you've got to think of it from the recipient's point of view. They don't want to get on a call with you. They don't. Unless they would, there's people that are that impressed by the email that I send that they go, where is my fucking booking link? Book now. But the others are just like, right, yeah, they don't really want to get on a call, but they're intrigued enough to reply. So you've got to nurture them to get on a call. So I wouldn't say get on a call straight away. I'd just sort of go, just be as consultative as you can. Always end with a question like, would that help you? Or would this help? Or something like that. Something consultative and worthy of a reply. But yeah, that's it for most of my tips and tricks. I'm just going to walk you through my infrastructure right now and what I do, all the automations I've got, my whole infrastructure for my cold email. Okay, so I have this one. It's obviously very messy because I've messed it about a lot. But essentially, this is it, right? I'm going to go through with you and just connect the dots, okay, and just try and make you understand what it is I'm doing here. So I use a tool called Spark Post to send my emails out. That's only an SMTP server, and it's only a place where I can add domains into and send from an IP that I've bought on there, okay? So I'll press start and it'll get my domains from a Google Sheets, okay, all my cold email domains. Then it would actually join onto here and it would add the sending domain, add that domain to Spark Post, right? So it adds all my domains into Spark Post. Then I get everything ready, which is basically the DKIM, the selector, the TLD, and the SLT. The TLD is the maybe top level domain, and maybe this is sending level domain. I'm not 100% sure, but that's the end bit, like .com or com, I think. And this is the previous bit, like Centrix AI or Get Centrix, okay? And what I do, I end up updating the DNS records in Namecheap. So I've bought these domains in Namecheap. It will update all the DNS records ready, like for pristine deliverability. And then it will verify those sending domains. Okay, I actually don't add bounce domains anymore, so we'll get rid of that. I'll verify the sending domains. Then once they're verified, it will go down to here and it will set the mailboxes. So as an array, these are the 4 mailboxes names that I use. Then it will split them out and it will create those mailboxes with a password and add it to a Google Sheets. And then all I have to do with that Google Sheet is put it into Instantly. And it's as simple as that. What this is essentially done, it's got my mailbox, my domains, it's added them to Spark Post, which is where I send the emails from. Then it updates the DNS records for pristine deliverability. So it sets this SPF, the DKIM and the DMARC. Then it just verifies them to make sure they're all okay. Then it will create the mailboxes. So it will create the actual inboxes under each domain and it will add it into a Google Sheet. And I will get a Google Sheet. I'll just have to download that, put it into Instantly, and that's it. My Google Sheet has been, my mailboxes are all getting added into Instantly. Simple as that. Then once they're in there, it needs the warm up. So this is my warm up automation. What this does, it runs every morning at 6 a.m., every weekday morning at 6 a.m. It will get all my mailboxes from a Google Sheet, so I've got them all in there, and it will get the status of my IP, which is called Centrix Pool B. Now, what I mean by status is that you can actually auto warm up your IP. What that means is that it basically won't let you send any more emails than a specific stage limit that you're in. So if you're in stage 1, which is the first stage, it will only let you send 200 emails. If you send more emails from your IP than 200, it will add those emails to the shared IP, which is no good. So you want to keep underneath that stage limit. So it will get the stage limit and it will get all the health metrics and everything. Then we'll get the status of the campaign. So I currently have 3 campaigns. So we'll get the status of all 3 campaigns, reply rates, pretty much it. Reply rate, the daily limit, etc., how many the limit of each separate inbox. Then it will get the Spark Post domain metrics. So this is the health metrics from Spark Post. So it's our sending domain metrics. Like this will know how many bounces, how many soft bounces, how many list unsubscribe, how many spam complaints, etc., and it will get all the metrics, all the health metrics per domain. And then it goes up here, right? And we'll filter the mailboxes to update. So in this code node, it will decide whether that mailbox can increase the daily limit or whether its health isn't the best. So let's just keep it on what it is right now. And then it'll batch process those, okay? So it will go do 10 at a time and it will get the current account info from instantly, and then it will update that daily limit. So let's say it's gone from 2 emails to 4 emails. It's happy to actually send now 2 extra emails per day. It will update the limit and it will update that into a Google Sheets that I've got 2 Google Sheets. So Warmup history and the mailbox in the sheet. It will tell me how many it's done. It will wait and then it will do it again. Batches of 10. So let's say it's done all 140. It will then go down this path. It will prepare the campaign updates and health checks, decide whether we should update the campaigns or whether we should pause the campaigns. So this is really, we're getting into the nitty gritty now. If we're pausing a campaign, it's because our emails are fucked and we're not landing in an inbox. People are complaining. We're getting a lot of spam complaints, and it's decided, shit, you fucked. You should now pause the campaign, and that's what it does. It pauses the campaign for me, and that's absolutely fine. I now have to go into the campaign. I probably have to look at the email accounts, and I might have to go, fuck, these are fucked. And I don't know. I'll have to then think of a strategy to what I'm going to do, but thankfully that hasn't happened yet. If it shouldn't pause the campaign, it will go here and update the daily campaign limit. So obviously we've updated the campaign limit per email account. Now it's going to have to add all those up and say, okay, now the new daily limit is this, so let's update it to this. Or also take into account this stage that I'm in Spark Post. So let's say I can now send 850 emails a day from Spark Post. It's going to go, okay, the new daily campaign limit over my 3 campaigns is, I don't know, 250, is it? To make it to 900 or whatever, 800? Whatever it is, I don't know. So it will it will split it into 3 because I have 3 campaigns, and it will update them, and it will get then the campaign analytics, which is basically just the reply rate, and log that into the campaign metrics. And then last but not least, it will go down here and it will say, fuck, or give me a summary report and send it to me. If there is a health issue, it will send me another one. This is at 6 a.m. I get it every single morning, and it tells me if some domains aren't doing as well as they probably should, and the reason why they haven't increased in daily sending limit. And it will also then check if it's complete. If it's not complete, it will just stay like that. And that is it. That's my warm-up automation. So it does it completely for me. And that's part of my infrastructure. And then last but not least is my ultra-personalized email system. So this is actually the magic, right? This is the first system I created, and I've just made it a lot better since then. So basically what I do, in fact, we should probably show you where I get the leads from and how the leads work. So let's have a look. This one. So essentially what I'm doing is in Phantom Buster, I've given it a load of search URLs from LinkedIn. So I've done a load of searches. I've put all these URLs into Google Sheets, and every 6 hours it's scraping 625 of these. When it's done, it sends it to the webhook. We get the JSON URL, download the file, split them out, edit the fields, and then basically add all those 625 items into a Google Sheets, which is 625 leads. So every 6 hours, I'm automatically having 625 leads added to a Google Sheets. And then if it's finished, it'll let me know. And then what this does is gets that spreadsheet that I just talked about, and it will process it in batches of 20 to make sure we don't hit rate limits. And we'll clean the names with AI because, as you can imagine, people in LinkedIn, they put like load of brackets, MCSB, Sir, MBA, I don't know, stuff like that, fucking he, her, transgender, stuff like that in their names. So we need to clean the names and basically say, look, this isn't a real name. Can you change it to just first name, last name? Thank you very much. And then we'll find the email of that person. If the email is found, we'll verify that email. If the email isn't found, it will go into a sheet and we'll say, okay, for that person, the same sheet I talked about at the start, it will say that email hasn't been found. So if you don't mind, put it as email not found in that spreadsheet. If it's not even verified, it will do the same and it'll say the email's not been verified. So it will update the column in there, the processed column, and it will say email's not been verified. So what do we do? There's a load of leads in there that, one, the email hasn't been found, and two, the email hasn't been verified. So there's a load of leads there that are just going to waste, not on my watch. They're going to get added to the LinkedIn sheet. So it's a separate sheet and it's just a load of LinkedIn URLs literally to their profile. And what I then do, I'll put that into Phantom Buster and twice a day it will send connection requests to those people. Then what happens, I get a notification on my phone. It says Thingy has accepted, matey boy has accepted your invitation. I haven't done anything. It's just been added to a sheet and Phantom Buster has sent that connection out on my behalf. And then when it comes through saying connected, I'll instantly go in and I'll message them saying thanks for connecting, and I'll try and get a lead that way. The reason I do that and don't do it automatically, I do have a system that does it automatically, but I just found it so much better response rates when I actually do it myself, and I can create real conversations and real actual a real relationship with someone, right? And they see my face, and LinkedIn's really good, right? So that's essentially what it does. If an email is found and it's verified, I will research that person for the email. So I'll research them with Perplexity. I always change the prompts depending on the copy that I'm going to be sending. So let's say I wanted to send the email that says, okay, I didn't know whether it was to reach out to you or John. In Perplexity, I'd say, give me the other decision makers. Something like that, right? Then very comprehensive prompt in here to create emails that are just so human, it does look one-to-one. So that's my prompt. I give it a load of examples and it basically just creates very good emails that I have actually created myself, and that's why I've given it examples, so it actually is copying my tone of voice. Then we put the email into a Google Sheet. You can just add it to instantly, but I like to just double check over it and then I add that into instantly. And one last part of the infrastructure is a domain blacklist check. So every single day, this just goes and checks all my domains against a blacklist. And if it has been blacklisted, it will let me know. And the same with my IP. If my IP, every morning, it will do a check. And if it has been blacklisted, it will let me know. And I can just basically pause all my campaign. So yeah, that's it. That's pretty much my whole strategy and infrastructure. I book anywhere between 30 to 50 meetings a week when I'm actually running a campaign, because as you can imagine, one person business, that gets quite a lot. But if you're out there, right, and you're struggling, especially if you're AI and automation person, and you're struggling to make some money, or if you're just a business owner and you think cold email won't work, I'm here to tell you it fucking does, right? It's the easiest way, but it needs to be done right. And you need to have someone who understands what they're doing, or you yourself need to understand how to do it. So again, this infrastructure can be sold as a whole infrastructure. I've mentioned it plenty of times. Obviously, everyone's mentioning it now, but it can be sold as a whole infrastructure, not just a fucking automation. This is a whole system, a whole infrastructure designed to book meetings on a daily basis. Even just today on my on this warm up, even just drawing the warm up, I've got, if you bear with me, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 opportunities just from today. 6 interested replies, 6 positive replies just from today on the warm up. I'm sending like 700 or 800 emails a day. And when it gets to full whack, I'll be sending 4,000 to 5,000 emails a day, right? Just as a comparison there. But Look, I've got this all packaged in my community. So if you can't be asked to sort of go through my videos and book it and do it all yourself, which I think you should probably do, you should try and build it yourself. But if you can't be bothered, get in the community. It's all in there. You'll get a client within 6 weeks guaranteed. Yeah, and then don't buy any sort of cold email course, because this video is all you need. So look, yeah, I hope this helped you. Literally, this is all you need to do. If it has helped you, drop me a like. It helps a lot. Drop me a comment for what you want to potentially see in another video. And I hope everyone's doing well, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.